Shalom. I'd like to start out by giving all glory, praise, and honor to Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai Bahasham Urchak Wadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of the Great Millstone, and Shalom to the elect of Israel. This is Thamayim in Atlanta, and I want to start out today right here at Isaiah chapter 47 and verse 7. And it says, "And thou sayest, I shall be a lady forever." That lady, speaking of Babylon the Great, aka America, says, "So that thou didst not lay these things to thy heart, neither didst remember the latter end of it." And going into that, because of this tweet that, or whatever you call these messages now that are on X, which is formerly known as Twitter. But anyway, Elon Musk put out this tweet recently, and it says, "America is new Rome." And our apostles and elders have been telling us this for ever at this point now. America is the new Rome. And in the scriptures, America goes by many different names. It goes by Babylon and the different names associated with Babylon. It goes with Assyria, goes with Sodom, goes with Egypt, and it's also known as the reincarnation of Rome. And so he's not telling us anything we didn't know, but this is something that's denied sometimes. So it's great to see one of the elite actually put this out there. America is new Rome. And moving on, it says America was founded to be the true successor of ancient Rome. And just saying earlier, this is the beast whose deadly wound was healed. Rome went down and then rose back up again, calling itself America. It says, but most don't know how deep the parallels run from its grid plans to its constitution. And yeah, you can see it within the grid of Washington, D.C. and throughout America. You could also see it in the infrastructure and how things are built. You still see the same Roman aqueducts and the same I guess kind of like the plantation homes with those what do you call those? Those big round piers, I guess you could call them. There's another word or term for it, but you can see it within the architecture as well. They have the same bird or same symbol, which is the eagle. And you can see right here in this image on the left, you've got the Roman image, and then on the right, you have the American image, and they both have the eagle. At the bottom, there's the bundle of sticks. Around a stick is called a fasci. That's where you get fascism from. And you see very similar in the American image. They've got the olive branch on the right side of the eagle. Salakia, getting a call. 1 second. Salakia. But you can see the olive branch on, I guess that'd be the right side of the eagle, and then on its left side you see these arrows which resemble the fasci. Moving down, you see the infrastructure and the grid of it. It's very similar. And then down below that, you see the Senate, and that is very similar. And I think it's even within this Senate room that you have here on the bottom right that you could see the fasci too, and it's supposed to recognize order and the e pluribus unum of many one. So you take these bunch of little sticks and make it into one big stick, e pluribus unum. And so you could see the resemblances of it even just within this image, but there are many others, and then the scriptures back it up as well. Moving on down within the replies, this one says they just changed the name of the company and its location. And as our apostles and elders have told us, America is a corporation, and all the countries of the world are. And so here you see Greek coinage with the eagle, you see Roman coinage with the eagle, and then you see United States coinage with the eagle. And all three of these empires or kingdoms are Edomite kingdoms. You got the Greek one was their first time of major rulership, and then it moved on to Rome, and then here in the United States. Those are all Edomites right there on those coins on the front, and that's their symbol, the eagle. And the scriptures even call them the eagle. Think of Obadiah. And moving on, it says how did Rome fall? Multiculturalism, says this guy, the general, which, yeah, Rome fell in a lot of similar ways that America will fall, except Rome didn't get that nuke like America will receive. And it'll be a great example of how not to be. Oh, great. Here's the fasci right here. And you can see of many one. You can see these many sticks going into making a big stick with the axe blade on the end of it. And this is in I believe that's the Senate building, but it might be another building there. But it's in one of the major buildings of this here democracy. Somebody's bringing confusion there. This is the empire in the south and in the north. And you see Trump looking like one of the ancient Caesars. And that's funny because our apostles and elders believe that Trump is Nero reincarnated. So that goes perfect. It says, make America great again, in which this won't happen. It says, if we could have healed her, would have been healed. But Babylon has to fall because of the great sins of this place. The Lord would be unrighteous for letting it continue to exist. So let's go back to Isaiah 47 and verse 7. And it says, and thou sayest, I shall be a lady forever, so that thou didst not lay these things to thy heart, neither didst remember the latter end of it. Because all of the sins and crimes that America has done with the Edomites, because the Edom and Babylon get the same judgment. Their judgments are intertwined. Edom being the so-called white man, including those small hatters, those 1948ers that call themselves the Lord's people. They're included in there. And Babylon being America. Their judgments are intertwined. And they really forgot the latter end of it. Because I saw this that X post via Apostle Gabar's channel through one of his lessons, in which he was going into into that post, and he was saying that America really, or that Edom really thinks that his houses shall continue forever, and they won't, because they have so much judgment that they have to face for what they've done in the past, and they really didn't remember their latter end. I'm going to jump up to verse 6. It says, I was wroth with my people, I have polluted mine inheritance and given them into thine hand. His people being the Israelites, and were given into the hands of the Edomites. The Israelites being the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, as well as are scattered. And the Lord gave us into the hands of the Edomites, the so-called white men, and so-called, or those small hatters as well. It says, thou didst show them no mercy, Upon the ancient hast thou very heavily laid thy yoke. And they didn't. They showed us no mercy whatsoever. And as the scriptures say, show no mercy to him that showed no mercy, or that gave no mercy, and that being the Edomites that gave no mercy. So they shouldn't expect it, and the Lord hates them, so they're going to receive double for what they did. They touched the apple of the Lord's eye, and so they have judgment to answer for. This is verse 8. It says, therefore hear now this, thou art given to pleasures, thou that art given to pleasures, that dwellest carelessly, that sayest in thine heart, I am and none else beside me. I shall not sit as a widow, neither shall I know the loss of children. Because they're so prideful, they really don't see that they have an end. They go down. They are the last part of the statue before the kingdom is set up. And they go down, and they go down horribly, shamefully. It says, but these two things shall come to thee in a moment, in one day, the loss of children and widowhood, because there are great plagues coming to America. There's war that's coming, the economy is about to collapse, the infrastructure is collapsing, there's going to be civil wars here within America, and all sorts of other strange calamities that are going to bring great loss to this place. And then ultimately the nukes are going to come and lay this place waste. It says, they shall come upon thee in their perfection, for the multitude of thy sorceries. Elon Musk, who just made that tweet, he's a sorcerer, and he dressed as just an example, he dressed as Satan for Halloween a couple years ago, and he's an elite, and he plays with technology. He is a sorcerer. And it says, and for the great abundance of thine enchantments. And this place is completely covered in witchcraft. Look at the infrastructure of Washington, D.C. It's all Masonic and basically a witching board of different meanings and numbers and all those things. Look at Hollywood. You're hard pressed to find a movie that doesn't have a pyramid or all-seeing eye within it. This place is filled with enchantments and with witchcraft and with sorcery. And it is the revitalization of Rome. And so we'll go here into Daniel 7 and verse 7. And it says, after this, and this is Daniel having a dream in which he's seeing the major empires of the earth rise up and fall, and they're described as beasts. And so within these empires are just described as beasts. Daniel 7 and 7. After this I saw in the night visions, and behold, a fourth beast, this fourth beast being Rome, dreadful and terrible and strong exceedingly, and it had great iron teeth. And that's how Rome made its name great, through its use of iron weaponry. So it devoured and brake in pieces and stamped the residue with the feet of it. So it conquered and took the world. And it was diverse from all the beasts that were before it, and it had 10 horns. Those 10 horns being their vassal states, and that diverseness coming from it not having a king as the previous empires did. They had a senate, and that's just like they have a senate here in America, with the made up of the two-party system, as Rome had. Rome had the plebeians and patricians, and now in America we have the Democrats and the Republicans. It's a two-party system. And it says, I considered the horns, and behold, there came up another little horn. This is America. It says, before whom there were 3 of the first horns plucked up by the roots. Those three horns it's mentioning are Britain, Spain, and France. And you can see that America is made up of those 3 by just going to different regions. You go into Louisiana and New Orleans, it's all French down there. You've got a lot of English settlements up north. And you got down south, you have a lot of Spanish settlements like Florida. And it was made up of those three, but they fought wars and got them out. And then this little horn became what it is. And it says, and behold, in this horn were eyes like the eyes of man, and a mouth speaking great things. Because of that pride. They're proud to be an American. And then right after this empire exists, look what happens in verse 9. And it says, and I beheld till the thrones were cast down, and the Ancient of Days did sit. And so after this reincarnation of Rome, which is America, and really in a greater sense NATO and the EU, after this one exists, then the kingdom of heaven comes, which is why it's mentioning the Ancient of Days, Yahweh. It says, did sit, whose garment was white as snow, and the hair of his head like the pure wool, because he's pure. And that wool showing that he has woolly hair like so-called Negroes have. It says his throne was like the fiery flame, and his wheels as burning fire. And so after America falls, after NATO and the EU falls, the kingdom will be set up. But to keep going, Slacky, my phone is giving me trouble today. Come on now. Trying to get the revelation, but let's see if we could restart it. But I want to stick with showing that this is the revitalization of the Roman Empire. It's Revelation 13 and verse 3. And it says, and I saw one of his heads as it were wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed. This is Rome falling, but Rome rising back up again. And it says, and all the world wondered after the beast, because this is who all the world wants to be like. There's Americanization going on, or westernization, just like in the old days where there was, during the Greek Empire, they had Hellenization, and this went on into the Roman Empire, which they call the Greco-Roman Empire, and everyone wanted to be like them, and they made them be like them. So this empire, it fell, and then it rose back up again. Verse 12. It says, and he exerciseth all the power of the first beast before him, and causeth the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast. So you have to be like them, to be in line with their thinking and their ways and what their plans of that first beast, of Rome, because that's the image. And it says, and he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men. That's World War II, with the atomic bombs being dropped on Japan. And it says, and deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image to the beast which had the wound by a sword and did live. That's all going into Rome. And just showing, or backing up really Elon's point on this, America is Rome. It is that beast who fell and who was brought back up. Oops, Slocky. 2nd Esdras 11. That's what I'm looking for. We're going to jump down here to the bottom. And this chapter goes into the Caesars, and in particular the Edomite Caesars, which ruled Rome. And it's describing each and every one of them, but then you get down to the bottom, and it's calling them out and letting them know that there is judgment that they will face for how they ruled the earth. 2nd Esdras 11 and verse 39. It says, Art not thou it that remainest of the four beasts whom I made to reign in my world? Those four beasts were in Daniel chapter 7. It started out with the Assyro-Babylonian Empire, and then went on to the Medo-Persian Empire, and then into the Greek Empire, and then finished with the Roman Empire, and then that little horn that rose up being America. But America is Rome, or the revision of Rome, or the reincarnation of Rome. And so now it is the fourth beast, in which the judgment's going to come through. It says, Art not thou it that remainest of the four beasts, just went into those, whom I made to reign in my world, that the end of their times might come through them? And the fourth came and overcame all the beasts that were past, that's being Rome, and had power over the world with great fearfulness, and over the whole compass of the earth with much wicked oppression. And the first time Rome was here, they had power over the known world at that time, but this portion over here that we're in now, called America, or all of the Americas, north, south, central, wasn't around then, or at least wasn't thought of by the known world at that time. But this reincarnation of Rome, or revision of Rome, does have power over the whole entire compass of the earth. And it says, and over the whole compass of the earth with much wicked oppression. And so a long time dwelt he upon the earth with deceit, because everything they do is lies. It's all lies and robbery. It says, For the earth hast thou not judged with truth, because they can't even do it. They're nothing but liars. It says, For thou hast afflicted the meek, the Israelites. Thou hast hurt the peaceable, the Israelites. Thou hast loved liars, those Edomites, because they are liars, and destroyed the dwellings of them that brought forth fruit, and hast cast down the walls of such as did thee no harm. And they destroyed our temple, the Lord's temple. It says, Therefore is thy wrongful dealing come up unto the highest, and thy pride unto the mighty. And the sins of Babylon have reached unto heaven. The highest also hath looked upon the proud times, and behold, they are ended, and his abominations are fulfilled. And so at this point, they will have done all the work that the Lord needed them to do, all the wicked left-hand work. And it says, And therefore appear no more, thou eagle, that being their spirit sign, spirit animal, nor thy horrible wings, nor thy wicked feathers, nor thy malicious heads, nor thy hurtful claws, nor all thy vain body. And so the Lord's about to get rid of them. They will be judged. And this is within Elon's tweet. I think it was saying, let's hear it again. Come on, phone. Salakia. This, I didn't get the smallest part of this. It says, But most don't know how deep the parallels run, but its grid plans to its from its grid's plans to its constitution. Here's why we still live in Rome, and why it won't collapse this time. In Slovakia, I meant to have read that in the beginning, equating to Isaiah 47 and them not remembering their latter end, because their latter end is what we're reading now. It won't last forever. It can't last forever. So 2nd Esdras 11 and verse 45. And it says, "And therefore appear no more, thou eagle, nor thy horrible wings, nor thy wicked feathers, nor thy malicious heads, nor thy hurtful claws, nor all thy vain body, that all the earth may be refreshed, and may return, being delivered from thy violence, and that she may hope for the judgment and mercy of him that made her." And so this Rome is going to end. The Lord's going to end it because they've put sin upon sin and all their abominations and their robbery and their lies and their murder and blood spill. They have they have a lot to pay for, a lot of judgment that's coming down. And so them saying that this time it won't fall, it's all just pride talking. They're falling. They can even tell that they're falling, and the Lord's about to judge them, and is judging them. And so, Lord willing, that was edifying. I'd like to give all glory, praise, and honor to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Ruach Wadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of the great millstone. Shalom to the elect of Israel. Shalom.